So things always go wrong. And that's what this next storytelling section is about. So here's Sally.
I would like to welcome to the stage from Bogota, Maria Linares.
Okay, so I'm gonna briefly tell you the story about our chapter. So 2 years ago, my friend Laura, you can see her there, and me, decided to apply for the Creative Mornings chapter in Bogota. When we emailed the headquarters and say, we are ready, we have our video, we have our venues, we have everything, we got an email saying, oh, we're sorry, we just gave the license to someone else. So we were heartbroken, devastated, we had worked a lot. And then I said, why don't we email them? We might get together. So that's how we met Ale and Nico. And a couple of months later, on February 2013, we had our first Creative Mornings Bogota, and it was amazing. We started to work together without knowing each other. That's crazy. And that's when I realized that if you're committed to something, that's what it matters. So we were so excited about Creative Mornings and having our chapter that we just wanted to do it. Now, time has passed by and our team has grown. I'm here with Diana, Diego, and Beto, and this is the rest of my team. And I'm really lucky because our team is very committed, and I think that's the key for running a great event. If you know which are their strong suits and which are they willing to do, everything will turn out great. Because a lot of people come along the way interested in helping out in Creative Mornings, but when they realize it's a lot of work and it has to be done every month, well, they don't do it. So if you have a small team and you know what they're good at and they're willing to do, everything will be amazing. So our result is that we've had 20 Creative Mornings so far. We have 10 volunteers every month that show up at the event. We have 150 or 250 attendees per event. We have lots of Colombian coffee, lots of creativity, and the most amazing and committed team ever. Thank you.
So the question that we asked when we sent out a request for 30-second videos from the people that are speaking today is, how did you overcome these challenges? Tell us a horror story or a challenge and let us know how you overcame it. Our next speaker is kind of a horror story for us today. I got an email just last night between cheek aches from smiling so much, from Sharif Virani. Hi, Sally. Unfortunately, I had some passport issues. I just realized it expired last month, and trying to get an express 24-hour renewal so I can make it tomorrow. Worst case scenario, I'll send a video in my place. There's no video. Super sad about this, and hopefully can make it! Exclamation mark times 10. SV. This is how we're going to overcome it. Keith Frankel, come to the stage. Late edition, Keith Frankel.
So good afternoon, everybody. Keith Frankel from the new-ish Boston chapter. So I don't even know if my team fully knows this story, and I just told headquarters while we were eating lunch. But in August, we had, I believe it was, August was failure, correct? We had our biggest speaker to date, a guy known as Johnny Cupcakes. Quick, raise your hand if you know Johnny Cupcakes. Johnny Cupcakes basically founded a clothing brand, and he creates these storefronts that look like bakeries, and he advertises them as real bakeries. And he has the ingredients in the window, and people show up, and there are ovens all over the place, and there's cake pans and everything, but it's just a t-shirt brand. And so we were all excited. He's huge in Boston, and we got him to come through kind of a crazy series of connections with other people. And he fell in love with seeing the people who were saying they were attending on the website. So people would pop up, and I'd get a text message. He'd say, "Oh, I know that person from high school." The little photos of all the attendees, and he kept sending me little notes. Then I get an SOS text. That's all it says, SOS. And I say, "Dude, what's wrong?" And this is the night before the event, maybe 6 p.m. And so he goes, can I call you? I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So he gives me a call. We hop on the phone, and he says, "Listen, I'm so sorry to do this to you, but I think I have to pull out of the event." So we're a fairly new chapter, and I kind of have this freak out moment, like, what the fuck am I going to do? This thing is tomorrow. And so I say, "What happened?" And he goes, "Well, I have a stalker situation, and she is attending tomorrow morning." And really quick, do not tweet at Johnny Cupcakes or that I'm telling this story, all right? This is just for this room. So he says, "I have the stalker situation, and she used her initials when she attended, and it's a different photo, but I know it's her. And she had posted on her Facebook wall and had tweeted at him like, 'Johnny, see you tomorrow.' And he has a restraining order against her." So then I get in this moment where, well, what the hell am I going to do? So everything crossed my mind. Do I secretly change the event location? Do I hire personal security? And we're looking into all of these things, and the time is ticking down, and I have to get ready to start thinking about going to sleep so I can get up to set up this thing. And then I just send a very candid email to the folks who provide us with the space that month, and it was super honest and clear. And I just said, "Listen, I don't know what to do. I'm totally lost. I'm having this freak out. This excellent speaker who sold out in 6 hours is going to bail the night before, and I've got no substitute." And they gave me a call, and everyone worked together on it. They hired security. They sent an email to the attendee for me, and I sent one as well. And we had this great kind of collaboration moment to try and get over this really shitty situation. So my big takeaway, and this is, since this has become a thing, and I think the only reason it worked out so well is because prior I tried to make it a thing, was giving the sponsors, the partners, the people providing the space, a sense of ownership over the event itself. It's not just my event, it's not just my team's event. The folks who provide us with the stuff in order to do this are part of it, and I want them to feel like they're part of it. And had they not felt like that, they could have easily said, "Hey, legally we don't want to get involved in this whatsoever," because there's all these implications. But they stepped up, they helped me out, and it ended up being awesome. So that's what I got. Thank you.
Our next speaker doesn't really like the stage. I'd say he's probably a high-functioning introvert like me. And so I would like to invite everyone here to make him feel so welcome by giving him like a rock star applause. So on the count of 3, I want you to pretend you're at, like, I don't know, a U2 concert. Boo! I agree. Boo! Think of someone that you love, your childhood idol. Give the rock star welcome to Philip Schmidt from Cape Town. Woo!
Hi guys. I'm not at all an introvert, but this is a great way to get a lot of applause at the beginning. So, thanks for the introduction. It's really cool. If just as a little head start, if my English sounds a bit weird to you, I'm not originally from South Africa, so English is not my mother language. Just picture me. I'm German, so picture me as a little bit of a mix between Ross from Johannesburg and Jürgen from Berlin. So this is kind of, you can categorize me and my English and that kind of stuff. Great. I've been asked to share our horror story and our proudest moment in Cape Town, which happens to be around the same type of event. It was the backwards theme. If you remember, there was that theme illustration with the tree that was blown back. That thing, yeah. So we had people over there from Green Pop who do, they run a reforestation festival. So to get you an idea what it is about, they get a lot of folks together, lots of hippies and all kinds of tree huggers, people like that. And they plant trees. So they dig holes, put the seeds in, cover it up nicely, and water it a bit. And they dance and they eat tofu burgers and stuff. So that's what they do, and it's a really cool kind of initiative, and so we thought we'd highlight that. What they also like to do if they are on their festivals or prior to festivals on events like Creative Mornings, they like to activate the audience, which means they're trying to engage with you in a way that you have to do something in order to receive something that they could do for you, like planting a tree. So their idea was to take off the shoes for the event, which I couldn't relate to because, like, what purpose is that for? They're taking off the shoes. I mean, that was, they approached us in that way, and we went there, and we often do, like, prior to the events, we do meetings there with the people to make sure everything is in line and we're all on the same page. So they pitched this idea to us, like, okay, well, we'd like your audience to take off the shoes. We said, guys, it's around June, which means it's winter in South Africa. Like, it's cold. Okay, guys, it gets cold in Africa. It's like, not, if the Moscow guys are here, not that cold, but it gets cold, okay? So taking off the shoes in a concrete venue is not my type of thing. Apart from obviously having a lot of smelly feet, which is the horror story part of that story, you can see in my absence, and I refer to John and Tina's little advice, and sometimes you get to be the all-rounder. So on that day, I was the all-rounder. We were a little bit understaffed. I was somewhere in the back, and they set up this little thing here, this little shoe area. So I wasn't there, and they already started getting the audience to take off the shoes and cue it there, put it there. So the first 20, 50 people already took off the shoes, and which kind of forced us to run with it. So there was no chance that we can kind of get them away from that. Otherwise, we'd have like half of the people wearing shoes, the other half not. And you always get these type of overachievers that don't only take off the shoes, they take off the socks as well. So that is like, you can imagine the smell in that venue. There's like 150 people without shoes or socks. So that was the horror story part of it. We did a bit of, we didn't take a photo of all the shoes together, so we photoshopped it in there. This is more shoes over here. That's like, there was a lot of shoes, and we couldn't leave the venue without actually stepping over the shoes. The good part and the proud moment that we had, which actually was the follow-up event, but it was obviously coming back to that, is we, the purpose behind this, for every 10 people that take off the shoes, they would plant one tree. So, and that being said, 150 people took off their shoes. So on this planet, 15 trees have been planted because people did that, which I think is a really, really cool thing. And maybe a different twist to like being inspired in the morning. It's like, yeah, we did something for the planet here, which is, I haven't heard that before from some of the other chapters. We received the certificate, which we have lost now, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Those trees still growing, and they will continue growing far after maybe we're far in the back, whatever. So this is the proud part of that, which is really cool. And we are one of the green chapters. Who else is from a green chapter? Guys, I want to encourage you, think about your chapter color a little bit. You know, not only the green ones, other chapter colors as well. Maybe work with the color a little bit more. It's there for a purpose, and yeah, cool. That's our proudest moment and our horror story. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker, you heard him speak at the earlier session. He submitted so many videos, we had to put him up twice. Khan Heaney, please come back to the stage.
So I'm going to talk about one of the big challenges that we've had consistently since starting out. 3 years ago, when we started, we had the time to form a really strong team, but almost immediately we had a lot of trouble with the videos. They took a long time. 4 or 5 months would pass and we wouldn't have a video, and we were like, this can't happen. It's really bad form. We want to share the content that we have with our audience because a lot of people were asking about it. But consistently, they wouldn't turn up, the videos wouldn't turn up, and the videographers would keep dropping out after a few months of engagement. And it all came to a head with these guys when they talked at the first global theme that we had, Art plus Tech equals Magic. It was their assembly, they're a digital advertising agency, and what their project was, what they talked to us about was called the V-Motion project. It was, they took a Xbox Connect and they hacked it, and they turned a dancer's routine, the choreography, into a song. So as he did his routine, a dubstep track was created, and they recorded it live. It's on YouTube and stuff. But they, at our Creative Mornings, they showed this video for the first time ever in the world, and it was amazing. It blew everyone's minds, and we were like, oh God, we need to share this with the world. We need to show these guys how amazing these guys are. Cut to 5 months later, and the videographers had dropped off the face of the planet. They just wouldn't respond to our emails, they wouldn't respond to our calls. I managed to get the raw footage, and what happened was they just didn't have the audio. They hadn't captured the audio, and there was nothing there. The video was fine, but there was no audio. And so we couldn't share the video. We couldn't share this amazing talk that we found so inspiring, and that made us really sad. How do we overcome this challenge? We don't have a clear answer yet. At the moment, I've taken over the video handling duties. So now I trust myself, and it ties into my control freak tendencies really well. But I take a few cameramen, I capture the video, I make sure the audio is being recorded, and I edit the video myself. So I can work to a schedule and make sure that the videos come out on time. But is that the right answer? I'm not sure. It's working at the moment, but I'm open to suggestions.
Hands up if you've had video challenges. Yeah, yeah. You got some friends, Khan. All right, our next speaker. Random fact, national gymnast. So cool. Christian Situ, if you want to use this stage for anything else, aside from speaking, feel free. Please come to the stage and tell us about your horror story.
I'm a little bit shy, so I hope I don't forget my English. As you can see, this is a normal person in our city. In Lima, we don't like to wake up morning unless it's for work in a weekday. So it's very hard to get them to attend one of our talks. So what we do is we think about two solutions. The first one is that our speaker has to have a niche, like an assured audience, so they come like included with the speaker. This is good for new people, but what about our good old community? What we do is that we empower them. We don't want them just to attend to an awesome talk with an awesome cup of coffee. We want to help them to make their dreams come true, their projects, their ideas, their dreams. So we take the time before and after the talks to talk to them, to give them constructive feedback, to give them ideas. So this way they can grow with us, with the Creative Mornings brand. So every single talk, they come to us, and they listen not just to the speaker, but to us. And this gives them an aggregate value, I think it's, that empower them so much. So we have new people, we have this community engaged with us, and it has already given us some projects. For example, in one creative picnic, because in Lima the sun was beautiful, the climate was gorgeous, so we made a creative picnic. There were an indie producer, a paper toy maker, and an illustrator, and they were showing up their work there. With just, I think, 20 minutes, they got a lot of contacts, and they grew so much. And right now, we're implementing something that is called food design in our talks. So we give the breakfast a twist. So these are two friends that fusion design and food, and they make incredible things. The last talk we did, they make a little box. They put a string, and it was a collaborative game. So they have to pull the string together, so the cookie would go up. They would take the cookie and like share it with each other. It's beautiful, and I don't know if this is the answer. I'm super excited about being here, but the thing is that I think empowering our community and giving them someone that not only speaks about his or her discipline, but that gives them so much knowledge. We had some chefs, we had a scientist speaking in our talks, and it's awesome. I think giving them so much information it's awesome. I don't know. Thank you very much.
Tessa Connor's going to come and speak about a little thing called sponsorship challenges.
All right, and since I am a bit of an overachiever, after everything's done here today, if you want to talk to me about the time the road disappeared for our event, I'll tell you that story later. Challenges are always exciting. Well, you've seen Carl up here before, but just to reiterate, hail from Minneapolis and St. Paul, so everyone know where that is? Center of the country? It's our little hidden gem that we have going on. Our chapter is just about to wrap up our first year. November will be our 1-year mark. So we're super, super excited about that. And with that, as many of you know, the first year is full of learning curves. Holy smokes, I didn't even come in at the very beginning, and the whole time, whether it's getting your speaker or anything else, there's always something to figure out. The lucky thing that we have is Minneapolis, St. Paul is a very, very supportive and thriving city. There's lots of entrepreneurship, design. Everyone just loves the area and wants to support the creative community around us, which is great. And it helps us find speakers so easily. But what I want to talk to you about today is the struggle of the other side of things, and that would be the sponsors. Whether it's the sponsors who are hosting your event, you're using their space, the ones who are providing you the coffee, the awesome baristas, or that really sweet design firm who you really want to sponsor because just their name in general will bring a ton of people. It's the intimidating side, because all the time we have these faces staring at us pretty much saying, why should we sponsor you? And, you know, I've worked in the marketing community. I'm a graphic designer, and I'm very used to asking for money because all my work up to this point has been in the nonprofit industry. But it's it's a little bit different with this because there's so much creative activity already going on in Minnesota. It's like, what's different about you guys? And so it took me a while to struggle with this. And to be honest, it's still a struggle. We still have to convince people of why they should come and support what we're doing. Creative Mornings is one of those things in the Twin Cities where if someone knows about it, they're super excited. If they don't know about it, they're like, we'll see if you live. That's always encouraging. But, you know, someone else, there was an earlier speaker here who talked about the stalker, and that in itself was a great story. But what I got out of that was the whole concept of ownership. Like the fact that our sponsors own a piece of what we're doing to create this brilliant event. And that's one thing that I've been working to figure out how for the sponsors that we do have, instead of trying to make these new cold calls, let's work with the people we have and how do we make them really thrive with the fact that they're supporting us. I love the fact that our speakers themselves just get so much out of the event, but these guys, you know, we couldn't do this without them. And so what can I do to make this group of people just as happy at the end of the day? And I just want to share a quick little story. There is our go-to location in Minneapolis called SPY. They do interactive displays and projectors. And like, if we don't have a venue a week out, they're the ones who come to our rescue, provide food, provide a space, provide AV. They're right here for me. But we've had about 4 events there. And what was happening was, I don't know if other cultures have experienced this or not, but if anyone's heard like Prairie Home Companion, Kirsten Keeler, there's a lot of jokes about the Minnesota Scandinavian community, and interaction is not something they're very good at. There's a lot of shoegazing going on and just like phones, you know. Well, it's just our little Minnesota culture. That's how it works there. But what was happening was people would go into the auditorium, they would sit down with their phones, and they would just start texting and not paying attention to anything else that was going on. So there was no thriving community, no communication. It's like, what can we do? They're not paying attention to the space that we're in. There's no interaction at all. So we worked with our check-in table and everyone to encourage people. It's like, hey, you can go around. You can like check out the sweet interactive displays that are happening here. Not really knowing where it would lead, but trying to give people an opportunity to like meet others and explore and maybe give SPY a chance to get some new clients. And we've done that twice now. We just had our last event there, and at the very end of the event, we got together with Greta and Connor, who are the main people who help us out, and they're like, yeah, we're actually getting clients, like from your events. We're not pushing them, like, it's not like we have a huge display or anything that says, like, you should have SPY do your work, but we're just letting people interact and encourage, and the fact that we're allowing these new people to interact with each other, I mean, I think that's success. I think that's the thing that really not only helps the people who are attending the events, not only the speaker, but now bringing to the fold the people who are supporting on the backside and helping them realize that, hey, you are part of the community as well, and we want to be a support to you. So that's what I got. Thank you, guys.
I'd like to welcome back to the stage from Montreal again, Steve Bissonnette, who has over 25,000 tweets, random fact. And he grew up very off the grid, not just off the grid, but very off the grid.
About it as you've done your own events in English and possibly in other languages. As a chapter, when we first started this, we decided to do as much as of our events in English and in French as possible. We knew this would be hard, but we took on the challenge. What does this really mean, though? It means that we've had some successes, some ongoing problems, and one loss. And I want to share those with you as our challenges. Successes, trying to do our events in English and French. We have actually now done 6 events in English and 6 in French, and that's our goal for the year. We're switching back and forth, not necessarily sequentially, but that's what we're trying to do, which really represents our city and our team. We've been able to do a lot of our posting, our tweeting, our social media, and our content in French and English and have it translated. It's been a win for us. But our challenges every month have come to the delay that causes, right? We're coming and posting things quickly after the event, and just by nature, you want to post it as fast as possible in the language you're writing in. And although my name is Bissonnette, I am not perfectly bilingual. I can speak, but I cannot write in French perfectly. So often it falls to 1 or 2 of our team who can, and they are then the burden. They have the burden of doing it all. It's been quite a challenge. I'm going to get to the one thing that we've actually had a loss on. So I asked some of you privately downstairs about translation and subtitling your videos. Montreal, for our French videos, we tried to subtitle them into English because we wanted them to be widely shared and understood. At first, this was troublesome and hard, and we thought this would get easier. It did not get easier, not even close. I knew we were in trouble when I think during the Rebel event, we had a philosopher and French author who was in a punk band speak for 40 minutes about the philosophy of being a rebel in the establishment. And he was extremely literate, and I knew at the end of the event there was no way this would ever be transcribed and translated into English. The amount of work would have equaled 40 hours. That's what we estimated at that point. And among us, who could spend 40 hours on translation and get that done, and transcription? So at that point, we had done translations and hand subtitling of videos, but we all knew we were not going to get this one done. So it has been our biggest challenge to date is how to represent ourselves in French and English. Not our biggest, but it's been one of the ones that I wanted to bring up because nobody else did. What are we going to do about it? Well, one of the things is we are not going to give up on it. We are going to try to get a sponsor who might pay for an intern or a professional service to help us subtitle or transcribe, translate, and subtitle those videos. And we're also looking at YouTube to do this for us too, possibly getting access to the back channel of YouTube to add the captions in. So, languages, please share your language issues, problems with us all. We'd love to hear it. Thanks.
Another veteran of the stage, Dalen So from Singapore, is going to talk about attrition rates, how to get people to show up, keep showing up, keep coming back. He's got some really great ideas.
Hi, everyone. I'll explain what FOMO is, but just a raise of hands, who here have people sign up and more than half of them don't turn up at your event? It's a real problem, isn't it? So we started Creative Mornings. We had very, very little attrition because it's like a free event and people do not know about it. And the attrition was like maybe 20, 30%. But as we hosted more and more events, it started becoming 40, 50, 60% sometimes. And that was quite a problem. So what we decided to do when I was like the organizer for the first year was that I decided to blacklist them, right? That sounds a bit scary, but we just sent out a gentle reminder to people who didn't show up because we were using Eventbrite back then. That you know, guys, let's all be mature about it. People want to come to this event, but they can't because you sign up and you didn't turn up. So in case in future, if you're not turning up, please let us know why you, at least we can actually release the ticket to other people. And some people wrote back and they apologized, and some people were like, yeah, we can totally get why you're doing this and stuff like that. But of course, we didn't end up like blacklisting people, we're just scaring them. So we don't do that, right? So in the end, I think what has kind of really worked for us is not, you know, to touch on the more negative aspects, you know, like trying to enforce law and all that. That's not Creative Mornings. So we just decided to make our events more awesome, and we even tried to kind of bring the registration date closer to the event. So we have our events on Friday, and we tried opening registration on Wednesday. That didn't actually help much to save the attrition. So we tried like different things, and what really worked was like FOMO. FOMO is like the fear of missing out. Okay, so the fear of missing out is like, we'll give free swag to people, we'll work with magazines and we'll like give free stuff out. We will encourage people to hashtag our hashtag. We'll encourage people to tweet and Facebook. So people who actually sign up and they didn't turn up, shame on them. They missed out on a great event. So instead of like focusing on like law enforcement, we just decided to make a more awesome event. And that's how you manage attrition. Thank you. And one more thing, shout out to Richard over there, my co-organizer from Singapore as well. And we have two other ladies who has been running the event together with me. And we kind of rotate leadership each year. So if you're interested to know like how we do our model, I'm no longer like the main host, one of my co-organizers. So we take turns every year. So you can look for me later. Thanks.
So my takeaway from that was that in order to guarantee attrition, you need to either shame or bribe, right? Okay. Exactly. All right, Johannesburg, Ross Drakes, get back up here again and talk to us about coffee challenges. No one's had those, right?
Hi. I'm having that moment where I didn't need to pee until I stepped up onto the stage, and now I do. So, yeah. So in Johannesburg, we are coffee snobs. So we have an amazing sponsor, Double Shot. This is what our events normally look like. They bring a machine, they pull 250 cappuccinos, the hand steam every single cup. It's all amazing. It's perfect. Our project manager once suggested drip coffee, and we made her leave the room. So this is kind of the standard that we kind of set for ourselves and kind of what we normally want. We had one event that we had to move to a Thursday to accommodate the speaker, and we did a lot of communication around this to all of the people that it was on a Thursday and not a Friday, and we were tweeting, hey, it's Thursday, it's not Friday, and we were emailing, hey, it's Thursday, it's not Friday. So everyone arrived at our events for sex, and I don't know if you notice in the background there, that's where the coffee machine used to be at the other events. So we arrived, and we were kind of like, whoa, there's no coffee people here. So we tried to phone them, and their phones were off. Eventually, I got this very sheepish, hey, the event's tomorrow, we're all ready for it. So all our emailing and all that stuff with all the people was done very well, but apparently to our coffee sponsor wasn't done super well. So they weren't there, they weren't coming, so it's now kind of 8:15 in the morning, and I've got 75 people arriving about to have coffee. So that's when these guys step in, and they're like, hey, there's a coffee shop across the way, and you have a credit card. So we ran into the coffee shop, and we were like, hi, we would like to buy all of your coffee. And they're like, what do you mean, all of your coffee? We're like, just make coffee, and we'll run in, we'll grab the cups, and we'll run across to the other side. And these guys did about 16 trips, running back and forth, carrying cups, and eventually we actually did manage to pull off and have coffee at our event. And then I was a little bit scared. I was about to go and pay this massive coffee bill, and luckily our event sponsor, the Fada Gallery, came to me and said, hey, I'll pick up the bill. So we managed to get all our coffee, and it didn't cost us anything. So that's cool. Thank you.
To close us out, Carrie Pastor from Lima, please come to the stage. This is quite a doozy.
Hola. So I just want to start by asking you if you got canceled, your speaker got canceled before the event and after you launch your event. How many of you happened? Over there, 2, 3, 4. Well, we share the same feeling. It's awful. In Lima, our birthday anniversary is in May, and we decided to go huge. We did a party at the night, and we booked a speaker. He was a lawyer. His name was Jesus Alzamora, is Jesus Alzamora. And what he, I'm sorry. Well, he started to be a lawyer, and one day he said, fuck this, I'm going to be a writer, and then he wrote a book, and then he became a magician. So it was, our talk was supposed to be on Friday, and on Monday we launched our event, and everyone was singing, we sold out, and on Tuesday, the day after, he text me. He didn't call me. And he said, you know what? I'm on ER. I'm sorry, I can make it. And I was like, no, this cannot be happening. It's his birthday. You must be here. And he said, doctor, tell me that I can speak, so I can make it. And I was like, but you need to help us find someone because the event is in 3 days and we are like dying here and there's people going to see you. And he was like, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to find you someone. And he called one of his best friend. Actually, he's a stand-up actor. And he came to the talk. I didn't even heard of him before. And he was like, very fun. And actually, it kind of make it for him. This is a Photoshop, by the way, but I think it's going that way. So I just want to let you know that if you got canceled, I hope you don't. You can ask your speaker to help you because it's his fault, not yours. Thank you.